Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book review. The book that I'm going to be reviewing is something that I read for my own time, and it enhances my collection of U.S. presidential biographies that I have read. And that book that I'm going to be reviewing is The Age of Eisenhower, America and the World in the 1950s by William I. Hitchcock. Hitchcock is a history instructor from the University of Virginia, which, funny enough, was founded by another president in Thomas Jefferson. And The Age of Eisenhower was something that I acquired last year because I wanted to incorporate recently written presidential biographies into my book collection, and I think that this one was a great addition, and after reading it, I can only assure that it was the right decision. But The Age of Eisenhower is a biographical account of our 34th president, but instead of concentrating on each point in his life from birth to death, there is mention of his birth and upbringing, his participation in World War II as military general, but I would say that 85% of this book concentrates on his presidency from 1953 to 1961, or anything pertaining to his presidency, which includes his election, where he wasn't necessarily interested in the presidency, but after being convinced that he was the savior for the Republican Party, he decided to jump into taking part, and because he felt that because they needed him and he felt that he needed to fulfill the country's wishes, that he would in fact be the ideal person to serve as the president. Eisenhower was a moderate and a bipartisan president, which during this time he had a very skeptical view among the population. The general public loved him. He had very consistently solid and positive reviews, but when it comes to the experts and the historians and political scientists, they didn't think that he was such a good president. But history is beginning to show that he was among our greatest presidents, especially with the issues involving partisanship, where there's a great divide that's being created between the left and the right. Eisenhower was the last president that really could be considered a clear moderate. Some may argue that because Donald Trump makes decisions that have been distasteful to both sides of the aisle, that he is more of an independent than he is a Republican. But Eisenhower and Trump are two very different people, because while Trump is known for his brashness and his unfiltered mouth, Eisenhower had a very cheerful and soft-spoken, easygoing, and comfortable personality, and he was very faith-based, which he was baptized at the time of his presidency, and his faith only started to strengthen throughout. And that's something that is explored. There are other areas that are explored within this book are the Korean War, the Civil Rights Movement, the foreign affairs involving Indochina, Egypt, Vietnam, and how Eisenhower was pretty good at keeping us out of any serious foreign wars, even though he was looking to prevent communism from spreading. There was his involvement and interactions with the Soviet Union, and his relationship with Nikita Khrushchev, which was on and off throughout his presidency, and perhaps the U-2 spy planes are his biggest of failures, but there's still his great achievements involving the fact that he was able to keep things fiscally flowing. Things even improved in that matter. People were at the best point where they were able to live comfortably in the financial sense and purchase houses and purchase good houses. There was the even though with civil rights was an iffy area, which is explained in this book, but one of the things that is touched upon is the fact that there was a decision that was made in the 1960 election that solidified the black vote for Democrats. And another thing, talking about events that started to solidify themselves in the Eisenhower administration, is our involvement in Middle Eastern affairs, which something that happened during his administration became a reason for our involvement, our consistent involvement in Middle Eastern affairs, and the fact that we feel that we need to police things over there. But The Age of Eisenhower does an excellent job keeping that concentration on giving us a great sense of the Age of Eisenhower, or the administration of Dwight D. Eisenhower. I think that if I had a bit of criticism, it would be the idea that not every event was tied up. I know that there's a great part of a chapter that concentrates on Joseph McCarthy, who was known for his communist witch hunts. I wish that they wrapped up exactly what happened to him, because they said that he that after things were said and done, he went into disgrace and it destroyed him. But they should have. I wanted them to elaborate a little bit more about the specifics, which I think that it would be common knowledge to say what exactly happened to him and how he died from alcoholism only a few years after. But I think that that was something that was worth mentioning in the book. I like how this book touches upon the all the various players that were key to this administration. Talks about his appointments to the Supreme Court, his appointments to his cabinet. There's the on and off relationship with Richard Nixon, and how even at this point in time, Nixon was somewhat of a shady character, but Hitchcock does an outstanding job being objective, and I think that's crucial when it comes to reading a great biographical piece about a president. I feel that biased pieces can taint one's view on historical information, but I think that this was as objective and as objective and as honest and straightforward as one can get with a biography. And I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars on my Goodreads. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel. And for now, keep reading.